So here is the third variation of our Weekender Sunshine tops I really wanted to show you. And this one is like, oh, pretty. It's got lots of lovely details on it. And all it is the tank version, which is basically sleeveless, and it's got this band at the bottom. Now, as always, you can chop and change all your bits and pieces if you want to. Longer sleeve, shorter sleeve, put the hip band on, leave it off. Really, it's your call. But I just thought it'd be nice to show you how different it looks when you put that band on the bottom. And the other thing to say is that on our illustration of our pattern, we've actually just got a bound armhole, so you don't see any stitching. On this one, I just added a little folded over piece of the t-shirt in to give us a nice kind of rib finish. And I did that just to get a little bit of extra underarm coverage, because that's always really good for me. So what I wanted to show you was that this is another one that we've been inspired by Philip Lim. You remember if you looked at the Cabana t-shirt with the rose trim, that was one inspired by him. So this is another Philip Lim trim, which I'm sure I can't say 3 times quickly together. But it's a really easy one to do, and it's terribly effective. I'm going to ask Jeremy now to have a little zoom in and see if you can see it really close up, so I can go through with you exactly what I've got and how I did it as well. Are we zoomed? Yes, we're zoomed apparently. Fabulous. Okay, so all I've done with this is done some strips of the self fabric, and I've cut this with the stretch so it gives like this. And I've done that because I wanted to edge it, and I wanted to have a nice kind of ruffly edge. Because honestly, if you wanted to do a double turn pin hem on this, I say good luck to you. It's a knit, it would be a nightmare. So I've just edged it with overlocking, and that's fine. I've run a line of gathering stitches down the middle, and then just gathered it up as tight as I wanted it. I didn't do it really, you know, very frilly, because that would just be a bit too much. And then I've applied it first all the way around the edge, and then another one from the outside going in and then out again. And I continued that around the back. And just to finish it off, I've added these self-covered buttons. Now, I have to say, self-covered buttons are one of my least favourite buttons in the whole wide world, except when they're used in an unexpected way, like this. And this is a trim that's around an awful lot at the moment. I see it in a lot of different high-end designer looks, and it's a really easy one to do. All you do is cover your buttons in the self fabric and sew them on. You can do it in a random placement, kind of dotting around, or you can do them in a line as we've done here. It's really whatever you'd like to do, and it's actually quite an easy thing to do as well. And this is the kind of thing, placing the trim and putting the buttons on, this is perfect watching TV work. You know, sometimes you kind of think, oh, I really want to watch my show, I want to do my top and make my things. All you do is prepare it all up, sit in front of the TV and do all this handwork. It's really simple to do. So the reason I really love this one is, it is a great layering piece. You can wear it obviously in high summer just as it is. Perfectly acceptable top. I mean, if you put a little jacket or cardigan on top of this, it's perfectly okay for work. It's not too showy at all. But also, even wearing right now it'll work. You could put it over a very simple fitted shirt like the Classics Nouveau great white shirts. Treat it as a tank, put a jacket on top, you've got a really good layered outfit there that will keep you nice and cosy. As you get later on in the season, it starts getting warmer and warmer. Maybe just a long or a short sleeve version of the plain and simple fitted tees underneath, and that will keep you nice and kind of, you know, temperate and perfectly okay. And then, as I said, when you go into the summer, this is the one to go for. So this is a great look to do, and it's really simple to do. As I said, just apply your trim in whatever configuration you want. And when you do this, you make sure you put your neckband on first, and you've still got your garment out flat. You haven't joined the side seams, that's too early yet. Place out your trim, pin it on, see how you like it, and then just attach it. Don't get too bogged down in being really kind of precise and precious with this. It's just a t-shirt. But it is a very simple trim, very effective and very beautiful. And now I'm going to show you a couple of dress versions, one that clearly I'm wearing and one that I'm not. So these are the final variations of the Weekender Sunshine tops I really wanted to show you. And as you can quite clearly see, they're dresses. And you can do this with pretty much all our knit tops, just elongate them down into a dress length. And it's another really good way of getting lots of mileage for your pattern. Now, what I've done is actually raise the stand up so you can see this one. I've just put it on a box because I'm very low tech like that. But it works really well to show you that the length here would be just below the knee. And that's a really good basic casual dress length. Just below the knee is kind of the most flattering place to finish a skirt or a dress, but really it's your choice as always. Above the knee, on the knee, just below, or mid-calf or ankle, whatever you want to do. This one being cut just below the knee works just as well worn loose like this or worn with a belt around the waist. Again, it's really your choice. The only different things I've done to this one is that I have basically stolen a different sleeve pattern from one of our other patterns. I've used the sleeve from the Metropolitan Tie-Me Down tops, and you get this effect here. You get this slightly gathered, slightly raised sleeve head here, which just adds a nice little kind of flip to it. And it means that if you can do that, if you can bodge one pattern to another, I mean bodge is really the design room term, technically you call it morphing, but we always call it bodging. If you can mix two patterns together, you'll get this really good effect, and that gives you even more mileage for your pattern. So we've got the nice little gathered sleeve head here, and the other thing to point out that's really key for doing a dress in a knit is this. I've done a really deep hem facing. I'm not even sure if you can see that, but it's about 3 inches deep. And I've top stitched it at the top of the facing too, because incidentally, machine stitching is for construction, hand sewing is for decoration, and this needs to be tough, so this is machine stitched. And the reason I do that is I like the extra weight, the extra heft that a deep hem facing gives you, especially on a knit. What it does is it stops it curling backwards and kind of looking really scruffy and horrible. So I've done that on this one, and this is a really, really wearable piece. It's the kind of thing you will wear all summer long. You'll wear it to work with a jacket on top or a cardigan, all your accessories and bits and pieces, but you'll also wear it weekends and evenings, over a swimsuit to the beach, barbecues, parks, wherever you want to go. And it's a really comfy, elegant dress, and you know the nice thing is you always look pulled together even if you're very, very casual. So this is a nice short version, and the final version of the dress to show you is actually the one that I am sporting here. And this is exactly the same apart from 2 details. One is the length. I've cut this to a kind of mid-calf length, and I cut that to mid-calf because I like to wear my dresses with a hip belt like this, and then this blouse over the top, and so I didn't want it to be really, really long, but I need that extra length to blouse it over. And the other thing is that I've once again snuck into the warehouse and stole another pattern and used a different sleeve and armhole. And this one I've used the Riviera once, twice, 3 times a t-shirt pattern, and I've just basically matched up my shoulder points here, redrawn the armhole, the shoulder line, and used a different sleeve. And so now I've got this nice kind of kimono effect, which is really, really good. And it just gives you, once again, another dimension to your Weekender Sunshine tops pattern. So what I would say is that this is a really good pattern to do lots of different things too. It's almost as basic as a plain, simple fitted t-shirt, but it has that little bit of extra zhuzh with all this going on here. So it's still very useful for you. You can do a lot of things to it, but it's also perfect just worn as is. So as always, I'd like to say, let's see you get the pattern, make up some versions, send us some pictures. We're dying to see them. And thank you so much for listening.